Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I am bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it is an honor and privilege to have my friend Mr. Michael Sweet back on the show. He is the vocalist of Stryper. Stryper is releasing their 10th studio album, Goddamn Evil, April the 20th of 2018, of course, on Frontiers Music, s.r.l. Let me tell you, folks, their music keeps getting better and better, in my opinion. I've liked this band for a very long time and got to see them live about a year or so ago, maybe two, in Hazard, Kentucky, and really great performers. So, Michael, how's it going?
Hey, man, good to be back, and thank you for that build up there. We're busy and got a lot going on. We're getting ready to start rehearsing and prepping for our tour. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us. You know, it's a little stressful time, a lot of work, but it's good time. So we're excited about the album release. But
if it's not stressful, my friend, it's not worth it, you know?
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true.
So,
and it seems like we live in a constant state of stress, but it's in a good way.
Exactly.
You know, it keeps us on our toes, and we're always doing something and staying busy and active, and it's all good.
I thought this was pretty cool. Now, you guys are releasing Stryper's 10th studio album. What impresses you or stands out the most about this album? I'm going to throw this in here, too, a little bit. This album is a little bit heavier compared to some of the Stryper albums. Let's talk about all this, my friend.
Well, I mean, it is in some regards musically heavier, and then in other ways it's musically not heavier, you know, with songs like Beautiful and Can't Live Without Your Love. You know, this Can't Live Without Your Love is more of a rock ballad, but I think what makes the album heavy is our attitude, our energy. You know, there's a certain level of being very serious about what we do that comes through in the tracks and the performances. Mm-hmm. And that gives it that extra fire, you know, so that almost makes the listener think that it's heavier. But yeah, there are some really heavy songs like Take You to the Cross and The Valley, The Devil Doesn't Live Here. You know, it's definitely got an edgy, heavy side to it for sure.
See, when I meant heavier, I'm glad you mentioned that, but this is what I wanted to tie in here with this. Take It to the Cross, of course, which features guest appearance from Matt, and I hope I pronounced his last name correctly, Backend. From
It's Bashan, and
Bashan.
It is Bashan, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's Bashan.
Okay.
Matt Bashan.
So Matt Bashan from, you know, he's worked with Shadows Fall, Act of Defiance, but he's doing death growls on this. I thought this is pretty cool of you guys stepping out of your box to do this.
We wanted to. I mean, we've got a lot of requests over the past few years from people asking us to go a little heavier and do something that bordered on thrash, and that was our answer to that. Take It to the Cross. So, you know, we just want, I mean, we're never going to be a thrash band. We're never going to try to be. That's not who we are. But it's fun doing something like Take It to the Cross. That was probably the most fun we've had in a while in the studio, particularly on that song. We really had a blast recording that song. Absolutely.
Now, I know, like you said, you guys are not a thrash band. You're not trying to be, but could we see some more heavier stuff on other albums too, like this, maybe?
Oh, sure. I mean, we could, you know, we're always going to do heavy because our roots are heavy. We grew up with, you know, Priest and Maiden and, you know, the heavier side of music in the 70s and the 80s. So we're always going to have that side to us. But we also love bands like Journey, and, you know, that's why we throw in an occasional song that's got more of that melodic sense, like Beautiful, or even a ballad like Can't Live Without Your Love.
Can't go wrong with Judas Priest, folks.
No, you can't.
Any songs off this new album, Michael, that are standing out more to you, possibly? I know this is like your favorite kids or your collectibles, but are there any that stand out more to you, maybe?
There are. I mean, there's some songs, I don't want to say that I skip, but, you know, maybe I skip through, you know, and going back to. One of them, believe it or not, is one that's recent really grown on me a lot. And that's a song called You Don't Even Know Me. There's something about the feel of that one that I love, and I love the lyric, the message for our times. I really like Sorry, obviously. I think that's a really great video and great single. The Valley is one of my favorites for sure. I'm more of a mid-tempo heavy kind of guy, you know, like Heaven and Hell and that style of heavy. That's more my thing.
Now, you produced this album, correct?
I did.
Yeah, and you produce a lot of your guys' album, but do you like having the control to make your own album and take it in a direction that you guys want to?
I do, because, you know, there's a lot more freedom with that. A lot of times when you hire a producer, you know, you most of the time wind up working with someone that's, you know, really set on how they want to do things, and there's no break in that. You know, you kind of follow their lead, and, you know, you gotta do what they want you to do, and a lot of times it's not what you want to do. We experienced that in the past. These days we have the freedom to just go in and do it on our own. We save a lot of money, save a lot of headache, a lot of hassle. You know, to get a big name producer these days, it just doesn't make much sense, because, you know, half of the budget would be eaten up just to give them their advance and pay them. And, you know, it doesn't always work. We've found our stride, and we know what we're doing. And, you know, each album gets better sounding, and we're not going to mess with that formula that we have. We're going to keep doing that.
Here's the $1 million question, though. Do you stay as Michael Sweet, the vocalist and singer of Stryper, or do you put on a producer hat and become Michael Sweet, the producer, and pushing everybody on song to song?
It's a little bit of both. It's
Okay.
a little bit of both. I mean, when we're doing pre-production and we go in and we track basics, I'm more the producer. I'm wearing more of the producer hat versus Michael Sweet, the singer.
Right.
You know, I'm definitely wearing more of the producer hat and kind of making suggestions with this, and let's try that, and try this fill, try this part. Hey, you know, play this chord instead of that chord. Let's change the tone. Let's try a different mic. Let's do this. Let's do that. You know, a lot of that going on. And just really trying to, as a producer, make it the best it can be and make the songs the best they can be. And that's important. I mean, it's very important that we stay somewhat relevant, that our albums continue to get better and better, or certainly they stay as good as one another. You know, we don't want to go backwards. We want to keep advancing and move forward. And it's important in terms of the production, you know, very important, because I try as a producer to combine the old with the new, you know, and give people some of that classic sound, but also incorporate some of the modern sound in some of the writing and the tones and the sounds and production itself. That's important. You don't want to have a record that sounds like it came out in 1987, because, you know, people might not like it, or they might laugh at it or whatnot. You know, you want to stay somewhat relevant, and that's hard to do.
And so many people, and I'm guilty of it too, I've caught myself doing it, and I don't mean to, they're so judgmental on how albums are made these days, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And
I know.
I've caught myself
They really are.
I've caught myself doing it, and I apologize. You know, it just happens, and I don't mean to do that.
Well, you know, as a fan, we're all critics. You know, when you go see a movie or you listen to an album, it's a natural reaction to critique what we're watching or what we're listening to, most people. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with critiquing things. It's just often enough, it kind of goes to a real negative side with some people, and it gets more of a disrespect, insult versus a critique, you know?
Right. Is there anything, Michael, you like to do during the writing and recording process, you know, to help keep your mind open and fresh to new stuff, possibly to not let the music get stale?
Oh, gosh, not really. I mean, I just sit down and I start writing, and everything starts coming out, and I go with my gut, you know, whatever's feeling right, whatever feels solid. Sometimes I'll have an idea and it just doesn't feel right, and I'll move on to another idea. But I tend to work better under pressure these days, and I like to lock myself in a room and just start writing, and, you know, a week later or 9 days later or 10 days later or whatever it is, you know, emerge with a full album. I'm not one of those guys that writes 20, 25, 30 songs and then picks the best from that. I think that's a waste of energy for me. It just doesn't work. And I don't like to do demos. You know, I like to put all that energy, because a lot of times in the past we would do demos and then we'd go record the real deal, and the demos were better. You know,
right?
Because you're putting that first initial recording a lot of times captures the energy, and then you go to try to re-record it, and then you lose some of that energy, and it winds up not being the same. So I like to put all the energy into the real album itself, and I work well under pressure, definitely.
What do you hope the fans take away from this new album once they start listening to it, or just Stryper's music in general for the folks who are just starting to listen to you guys now?
Well, just that they realize that we're a band that's been around for 34 years and we're not going anywhere. You know, we're still putting out good music and we're still touring. We still sound decent. And, you know, we feel like there's a lot more to come. Like the best is yet to come, really, is how we feel. And, you know, if we stay healthy and keep good attitudes, it really is. There's no reason why that can't happen.
I think it's really cool when you look back, especially when I look back on bands and see bands that's still around that length of time frame, because it is so hard to maintain and do what you guys do and keep up. I mean, it's a lot of respect to you guys, man.
Well, you know, hey, it's funny because we've been a band, we've been the underdog band, and a lot of people probably didn't think we'd be around this long. And we're one of the few bands that is still around and thriving, I think, and doing well. And it's really good times for us. We're excited. And, you know, I feel this is our best album. And, you know, a lot more to come. I mean, we're going to try to outdo it with the next album and outdo that album with the next album, and just keep trying to get better and better and write better songs and play harder and play better and faster and make people smile and encourage people. It's important to us.
Folks, I've got to see Stryper live, and I tell you, it was a really, really great show. But, Michael, for the folks who have not got to see you guys as of yet, what can they expect at a show from you guys?
Oh, man, they can expect a really high-energy show. We always give our all, try to put on a really good show for everybody. And then we work hard at rehearsing and working out the songs and getting tight and making sure that we pull off sounding as close to the album as possible. They can expect just a real great rock and roll show with a lot of energy and leaving inspired, you know, because we try to inspire people. It's kind of like going to church, you know, to a degree.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I saw you guys, I thought you put on a hell of a show. Like you said, it's really high energy. There's no slow in it. You know, it was 1,000 miles an hour, and I like that.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely an energetic show, and it's important, you know, because I've been to a lot of shows where, you know, they play for 3 or 4 hours and you're just kind of going like, wow, you know, it starts to get boring and you lose interest. And we try to keep people's interest throughout the whole show and inspire them. And when they leave, we want people to leave, you know, feeling better about themselves and about life and their world in general. It's important. It really is. We try to not preach to people, but give them hope and, you know, make them realize that there's more to it. And the best, as I said earlier, the best is yet to come, because it really is.
Support-wise, man, is there a location that actually surprises you that you guys, or shocks you, man, that you guys get a lot of support from, possibly?
Oh, man. Well, there's a lot of areas where we go, and there's a lot of people. And it's always surprising. You know, a place like Puerto Rico and South America and Japan, you know, we go and perform to some pretty big crowds, and the excitement level, people are just off the charts, you know, just very passionate and really getting into it. It almost feels like 1986 or 7 all over again when we go to some of these places. I mean, the U.S. is amazing too. It's just on a different level. We tend to play more clubs and, you know, anywhere from 700 to 1,000 people. But we'll go to Puerto Rico and we'll play to, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 people. So it's just a different thing. I
know you said the best is yet to come for Stryper, but I'd like to ask this question. In the next 4 to 5 years, what would you like to see Stryper accomplish, Michael?
Oh, man, I'd love to just see us stay healthy and keep recording and keep performing and keep spreading the good word, man. That's the most important thing to us, and there's no reason why we can't keep doing it. You know, right now we're doing about an album every few years and a tour every few years, so we kind of balance and switch between the two. So in the next 5 years, that would mean another couple albums and another couple tours at least. And then I've got the side stuff that I do, solo projects and Sweet and Lynch projects and Lord knows what else. I mean, I'm going to be doing an album with Joel Hoekstra fairly soon, and hopefully some other people too. Who knows?
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you mentioned that. How was working with George with Sweet and Lynch, man? Let's talk about that a little bit if you don't care.
Oh, it was great. I mean, George and I really respect one another, and we're cut from the same cloth. The only thing that differs is, he's an atheist and I'm a Christian. So some people might think, how does that work? But it actually works great. We don't let that get in between what we're trying to do. And, it doesn't stop us from doing what we're supposed to do and doing our jobs. And we're really similar in terms of the way we write songs and stylistically. I mean, if you look back at Dawkins, you look at Stryper and Dawkins, I mean, there are similarities. We were both heavy, but yet we were both very melodic. We always had those big vocals and a lot of melodies, and that was important to us. We weren't just kind of metal bands.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons why George and I we fit well together.
Stryper will be headlining the first day of the Frontiers Rock Festival 5 on April 28th, man. How exciting is that for you guys?
It's going to be awesome. We're going to fly over and do that, and we can't wait. And then we're going to come right back, and we go to Nashville and do a rehearsal in Nashville one day, and then we load the bus and head off, and we start performing. I think the first show is at M3 Rock Festival in Maryland.
I know you guys have been around for 30-plus years, man. What's it mean to you still to this day when you guys receive emails or prior to your shows or after the shows, fans tell you, or just random people tell you, that Stryper's music has changed their life or it's gave them the inspiration to come out of that dark hole? What's that mean to you, man, to this day?
Well, it's amazing. I mean, that's at the end of the day when we turn the amps off, that's what lingers and that's what matters and that's what sticks and stays. And it's the important part of it all. Life's changed and people encouraged and helped, and people who are hurting and going through tough times, maybe they're feeling a little better about themselves after they see Stryper play or hear a Stryper album. And that's really why we do what we do. We love the music, but we love the message even more.
My friend, when you come back to Hazard, Kentucky, I'd just like to shake your hand.
Well, hey, man, you know what? We'll do that. We'll make it a point to do that. And I know we'll be back for
Good
certain.
Deal.
It's just a matter of figuring out when and where.
Folks, Stryper's new album comes out April 10th. Goddamn evil. Please pick this album up and pick up any Stryper's music up. Really, really good stuff. Michael, of course, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, tickets? How can they do that?
Well, man, the best way is obviously you can pick stuff up at Amazon.com and iTunes, of course, your local, if you have any FYEs, yes. I was going to say FYE and Walmarts and any other chains that carry music. And then if you want to get merch and swag and all that stuff, you can go to Stryper.com. Follow us on Facebook, Stryper, and Twitter, Stryper. And then Michael Sweet as well. Michael Sweet Facebook and Michael Sweet on Twitter. And, I'm really active. I try to keep people informed and up to date. And I love being a part of that whole thing, man. I really get into it.
Before I let you go, good sir, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. Hey, everybody, this is Mr. Michael Sweet of Stryper, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great, great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you so much, Michael.
Hey, my friend, thank you. God bless you, and I'll see you soon, okay?
Sounds good to me.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Later.